Hello everybody and welcome to today's That's Debatable. Welcome, I am Matt and this is Mike, still with his cup of tea from last week.
I'm Mike.
Yes, he is Mike and he's really on the mic.
Stone cold.
Stone cold cup of tea from last week still, he's still got it. Yeah, he's been microwaving it all week, you know, I bet. So today's topic is kind of films. Now we both like films, you agree with that? Do you agree you enjoy your films and your Netflix and your Amazon Primes and all the rest of them? Nod your head.
I love my film.
He loves his films, he says. So I'm asking the question.
I love my film.
So I'm asking the question. Now, I thought this for a long time. Things like science fiction. Sorry? Say that again. I can hear you. We can hear you.
There's a big delay here.
Alright, I'll give it a second delay if I ask you something.
Okay.
So basically you're going to ask the question, are science fiction films and hero films, whether it's Marvel, DC, whatever, are they overlooked on things like rewards? I'm not, I won't say Oscars, but kind of the Oscars. Should they have their own category? Should they have their own award things? Or should it all just be left as it is and we get films that are classed in the 1980s, that's wrong, probably more like 60s, and the storytelling ones of all like that, mostly the ones that get the rewards. Now there's nothing against those type of films, but the question really is, should DC heroes, science fictions and the work that goes into them be recognised more? So I would just be a quiet second, Mike, and let you see your thoughts.
So, do you mean as in the sci-fi sector needs more recognition, or more recognition than other genres completely?
Equal.
I fully agree. Now, I think that they do get the same recognition. I just think a lot of the sci-fi films out recently are just a bit crap.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen the new Spider-Man?
No.
I think it's one of the best films I've seen for a really long time. And I think many people agree with that as well.
Really? I mean...
Modern day...
I think once it's made once, then leave it. I think there's been like 101 different Spider-Man films now. It's like ridiculous. I mean, it's the same with Ghostbusters, and they tried to do another Ghostbusters with females. Now, I'm not trying to become sexist here, but Ghostbusters isn't based on that. So, and they kind of wrecked it. The same as sci-fi with Doctor Who. They put a female there and it wrecked it. I mean, I think it's too politically friendly now in this day and age to make it PG and right to be this and that wrecks sci-fi a lot. Like, an alien should be an alien. It should be an alien that's a male or a female, just an alien. And I think there's too much thing in there now. And I don't think it's the film's fault. I think it's the world's fault that's killing sci-fi.
But do you think, though, like, there should be more consideration into how much thought and effort have gone into the CGI? You know, every film and every, whether it's a low budget film right up to the big budget sci-fi films, if you're talking space, every spaceship has to be designed different, designs of different planets and different worlds, the CGI that all goes into that. You know, that must take hours from drawings right up to what we see on the screen, from the editing, the lighting. And to me, I think that just kind of gets forgotten about, because it's so focused on someone sitting at a dinner table. Like I said, I'm not going to put down what does win the Oscars, but I've sat in some of those at a cinema and kind of thinking, it's okay, but it hasn't got the juices going, shall we say. So do you feel like, you know, a lot of the efforts that go into making it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if there's a film with a good storyline, then you're going to need a good actor. And if you've got a good storyline and a good actor or actress, then that's a great film. So the effects that are put on after, I think, if the additional effects are going to be recognised, then yes, it should have its stand-alone award, which is separate to all other awards, because then it becomes unfair to the other films that don't need as much effects, not much CGI and stuff like that. So I would say, yeah, sci-fi should be awarded for the amount of work that it does with CGI and green screen and all that kind of stuff, and the amount of time it takes to create and motionise the effects that come onto our screens. But by doing that, you're going to kind of take out the feeling of what the current films that aren't sci-fi and the previous ones that aren't sci-fi, their work doesn't include as much CGI, so they wouldn't be in the running for that award. Where that means if that sci-fi film had a good love story or a comedy part, then it's still going to be included in the comedy awards. So I think it's a bit, you mean, I don't know. I think that's like saying, I mean,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
If it's an actual film, then yeah, add it in as an award.
So let me ask you, in the awards things, whether it's the Oscars or not, there's normally a section for best animation film, best soundtrack. So you do have animation, so why not the others?
And that's a good point. I think it's because sci-fi is a genre. Well, sci-fi was a genre. It's only because of what we've done, as in technology, to make it not. It's more of the effects now than what the actual genre is. It's like Star Wars doesn't now need a storyline; it's got all the effects. So you'll be judging Star Wars by the effects in this award than by the storyline.
Untrue.
So the animation part.
No, that's untrue to Star Wars. I'd say that's untrue to Star Wars. You still need your story with Star Wars, because a couple of them are, and even at the moment, the one on Disney Plus, and even one of the standalone, didn't go quite as well as I had hoped because the storyline wasn't strong enough. So you do still need that storyline. Yes, you can sell it on a name, but I could ask you, how many Oscar films are you aware of? Do you know many Oscar films that have won it lately?
Oh, I thought you were still talking. Oscar films. I like Titanic.
Yeah. How many others? But here's my point on that, though.
Okay, so I don't like any sci-fi films.
Yeah, but here's my point on that.
I like horror films.
But here you brought up Star Wars, which was 1974, I believe.
So,
But you remember that, but not a film that's won the Oscars. Apart from Titanic.
but the thing is, sci-fi uses all the CGI, so we're going to like say that the genre of sci-fi needs the recognition, so maybe the genre of horror needs the recognition. See, if that's the case, because sci-fi is a horror, sci-fi is a genre, and it's only the effects inside that make it good. I mean, they did create an award for best effects, didn't they, one time? And I think it was the BAFTAs that started it off, and they still do it today. But not for sci-fi itself.
Yeah, I think
sci-fi is a genre, and I think, you know, Leanne loves it. Sorry, I shouldn't say her name. Leanne loves like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and I don't mind Lord of the Rings, but it's a magical thing. It's a debatable thing.
But he's you mentioned like the Marvel, the Avengers. By the time they've recently finished, they did receive quite a bit of recognition to how well they were made and put together in the storyline. So I think that's kind of what started a lot of it. Should they be recognised or shouldn't they? Because, you know, if you look at viewing ticket sales, a lot of people still go to see these films, whether you like them or not. They're box office hits pretty much every time. You know, even with the pandemic at the moment, I believe the new Spider-Man is literally about the third best-selling film, even under these circumstances. So this is why should they be recognised more? If they're bringing in the box offices...
What film?
The new Spider-Man. So if they're recognised at the box office by the general public, why are they not always recognised so much by people who do reviews? Sometimes I've seen like newspaper reviews, and they're all for the storylines of certain films. And like I say, I'm not knocking them, because some of them are very good as well. But when it comes to certain sci-fis, if they don't understand the story, they kind of put them down, because they don't really understand what's going on. Not because it's a bad film, but because the film, they just don't know the story or the history or a lot of connection there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem, and I think it's okay to recognise it, because I think every genre should have its own award. In my opinion, every genre should, every niche of the market of what we watch should have its own kind of award. So, like, say, best of like the animation, best horror, best drama, best action, best romance. But if you do.
It is, but this is why I'm saying, should they have a separate thing? Should they have a separate bit for sci-fi, shall we say? You know, should there be, say, I think, a bit more recognition for them? Even if you, like I say, a lot of the Oscars, and I say to my partner that this time of year at the cinema, it can be a bit slower because of the type of films when it approaches the Oscar season. Because of the type of films, they're normally like historical stories, your Downton Abbeys. Again, nothing against them, and loads of people like them, and if that's what you like, that's great. I've seen some of them which I really like. Some of them I've just sat through and walked away. no problem. I ain't going to moan, but sometimes I think I wish I'd seen something else sometimes, but then I can say the same for some sci-fis. So, as you say, you know, should there be perhaps a different awards ceremony or recognition, one way of recognition, because I kind of feel there's so much missed in these backgrounds, the effects, you know, the details. You know, we can go up to Leeds Castle and make a nice scenery background film without putting any effort, because the building's already there, the grounds are already there. So how much effort's really gone into that? You can put a nice table, you've got to dress up nice, yeah, but the scenery is already laid out for you in some circumstances, because the buildings are there. You go up to the dockyards where they're making lots of films at the moment. You can use the boats, you can use, say, well, it's where they make the one from TV. Anyway, so they make lots because they got the scenery already there. That's why I wonder about sci-fi not getting recognition, because they're starting from scratch.
I would actually agree with you in an aspect that I think that I kind of see where you're coming from in the aspect that sci-fi is it's not looked at in a serious way, but I wouldn't say it's I don't know. I don't think it is the actual effects part that needs the recognition. I think sci-fi, the actual genre, is struggling to get into this day and age. I mean, but if you see stuff like Star Wars, Doctor Who, which I love, you've got like very limited promotion for it. But when it is promoted, it's like, this is going to be great, and then there's
but no film's going to be promoted as this is a bad film, don't come watch it.
And stuff like that. It's really OMG.
It's.
Pardon?
I think no film's going to be promoted as a bad film. Otherwise, what they're pointing, they're making it. But kind of. I think like animation is recognised as, say, best animation.
No, that's very true. But I mean, I think
we went to watch the new one recently, Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, so basically, I think the films are amazing.
Films are amazing.
Time gap is pretty bad.
But we went to see the Nightmare Alley recently. It just came out of film. It's getting 4 or 5 stars, reviews. But the Nightmare Alley new film, Bradley Cooper, new one, set at the circus, power and learning tricks and things, with a circus back in the olden days, should we call it. Don't want to give too much away in case anyone sees it. It's advertised as a great film. Like I say, the subplot is all there and everything, but we found it hard to connect to the storyline. I couldn't tell you why. I think it probably went on too long, to be honest. I think that was why. Because it didn't change a great deal. And it was hard to connect to it for that amount of time within the storyline, if that makes sense. So I think any film you got to feel connected to, or want to go back to see what's going to happen next, or have a bit of suspense.
Yeah. I think that sci-fi should get its own award show that can recognise its own work that's required to do a sci-fi thing. Because, like with the dramas on TV, like what I was trying to say earlier was, Downtown Abbey and stuff like that, to me, it's OAP, boring S-word. And you get sci-fi, which is exciting, it's dramatic, it's very interesting for all ages. And then you look at the magazines, and it's all about Downton Abbey and nothing about Doctor Who.
Have you watched Bridgerton?
The amount of work put into Doctor Who compared to Downton Abbey, it's remarkable.
Have you watched Bridgerton? Have you watched Have you watched Bridgerton, the one on Netflix?
No.
What about the Discovery of Witches on Sky?
No.
I'm just trying to think of some that are set in older generation time as well. I know the Witches one, time loops, but I think there is some good ones out there. Definitely, I enjoy Robin Hood and Medieval, King Arthur. I enjoy a lot of those, but I wouldn't necessarily put them in categories of winning stuff. I think we come to the conclusion that we kind of feel that they do need more recognition.
No, understandable, and I think it's
Go on.
I would say that they do, yeah, and they definitely need it.
So shall we just draw the conclusion that
I think more money's put into sci-fi than any other TV show, and more work.
Yeah. Shall we draw the conclusion then that we do feel that it needs more recognition, but having its own reward ceremony? I think that's the conclusion we're going to draw, is that yes, sci-fi films are plenty good out there. There's some good, there's some bad, just like there are with medieval ones and queens and king stories. But I think it's important to recognise what each film or TV series excuse me, is for what it is. Every film has got its own identity. Yeah, sometimes I've seen films not expecting it to be very good and turn around thinking, I really enjoyed that. Just like everybody else, you're going to get some film disappointed thinking that you're going to do it. So I think definitely the similar to you that it does need more recognition, maybe in its own way. Whether it's combined with the Oscars, I don't know. But I do feel it does need more recognition myself. Any final comments?
Yeah, I mean, like before we end this conversation, I would like to just say, did you know that today it's a year since Captured began?
I noticed you changed your name this morning.
We've been lucky enough to get an investment inside the company. And we've changed our name now to Capedia. It's now a limited firm, and I'm so proud. It's amazing.
That's great news.
1 year and another step up.
And if you want to know what we're talking about there, that is a company, a group that Michael helps run on. You can find them onto Facebook. and other platforms, of course. And of course out there you do videos and photos and things like that, yeah?
Thank you, Matt.
So of course, you've helped us plenty of times, and you've given some memorable moments for us as well. So best of luck with that, and I say, sounds good.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everybody.
It was fun, like, there wouldn't be a Capedia today without Maximus and Lexter.
Of course there would be.
Have a good one.
You take care. It's teamwork. Always teamwork. Teamwork is what makes everything work. See you later, everybody. If you've got any ideas for us that we can debate, we try and keep it a bit of friendly, relaxed and chilled. But yeah, let us know. And take care, everyone. Bye. Bye. Do the shark dance. Bye.
That's going to be